The Interloper. When I walked into the dining room, the two men I had been with the night before were already having their morning coffee. It was not quite what I had expected, having walked into the hall and then going into the bedroom the night before. My thoughts had been more on the men than the slightly dim surroundings. In the morning light, the designer kitchen and every other designer object in the apartment belied the two rather simple-looking guys I had met at the pub the night before. I was the only one wearing clothes from the previous evening. After the shower, my clothes felt a little grimy from the previous night's sweat. This was not the first time I had found myself in such a situation, although smiling at two guys at the same time was not something I often do. "Ready for your coffee?" the quieter of the two guys inquired. Would it be too much to ask for tea?" "Tea it is, then." "Wilson makes great tea." "Okay, the quieter one is Wilson, and the chattier one must be Raj." The thought did cross my mind whether he was really Raj. Just about every third gay Indian uses Raj as a nick. Sunday breakfast with two guys you had got along quite comfortably in the bedroom now posed the challenge of seeing things a little more clearly in daylight. Before I could complete the thought, Raj said they were going to their club and invited me along. They must have had a good time, I thought to myself. It wouldn't be a bad way to pass the afternoon. I would have amicable company, good food, and who knows what else the afternoon had in store. "That'd be nice," I replied. I was in my office packing my bag when an SMS came through. "Want a repeat of last Saturday night? Dinner first." My thumb replied, "Yup." Looked like my weekend was taken care of. Soon the weekend dates were moving into a regular thing. Dinner with Wilson and Raj and a few in-crowd friends. The level of discretion got lower, and the circle of friends grew wider. Then, back to their home and unhurried, delicious sex. These regular weekends became more a regular thing than I had imagined. It's not a complaint, but neither was it as I might have anticipated. Dating a guy I could deal with quite easily. Intimacy with two guys was a little tricky, even for me. Caught between work and a newfound intimacy that I had not given a label to, made me forget that I had shut out the rest of my world, that my going-ons were not going unnoticed, invisible, and also very discreet. But this self-absorbed mode received a sudden jolt, like a sharp slap of awakening, when I was alone with one of our regular dinner companions. "Don't you feel like an interloper?" Janice asked. What interloper? I could not get my head around what she was saying, and trust a lesbian to ask the question. Surely a one-to-one gay relationship is hard enough. Those two must have gone through quite a few rough patches, she added. I think I'm making it gel quite nicely, I returned. It sounded more flippant than I had wanted it to. But her remark set me thinking. What had I gotten myself into? A friendship with benefits? I assumed all three were benefiting from this relationship. Or were we? I had no cause to think otherwise. I had grown comfortable with a congenial relationship, and I had stopped looking for other partners. A familiar tone on my mobile signaled an SMS from Raj and broke my reverie. Free for drinks? It read. Time? 7:30. Leo's? Yup. An unscheduled catch-up. Intriguing. The rest of the day went by uneventfully. I found myself sitting at the bar waiting for the two to turn up. Raj arrived. No sign of Wilson. Wilson coming in a bit? I asked, thinking it odd that he wasn't with Raj. "It's just the two of us," he replied. We ordered our drinks. "I have something to tell you," he began. "Don't take it the wrong way. Wilson and I really like you." Something told me a but or a however was about to follow. "It's just that Wilson and I have an understanding. We meet guys, and if we like them, we hook up together. Like what we've been doing. We have our own 6-month arrangement. It's our cut-off time before any emotional entanglements set in. We had a few rough times before. We decided on this arrangement. Now, it is always 6 months." I could not believe what I was hearing. I thought I would never be shocked. I don't think I was shocked, actually. My feelings had not quite reacted to what I was hearing. "Prem, today's our 6th month. So, no farewell fuck even," I thought to myself. I wanted to laugh. I was glad of my years on the circuit. My naivety had been lost rather early with a few scars to show for it. "Wow, I didn't see that coming, man. You guys are so smooth," I said. I wanted to add slutty and slimy, but held back. "Cheers, Prem. Thanks, guy." A quick hug, and I was looking at the back of a man who had been in my life, although briefly. My so-called interloping days were suddenly brought to an end. That night, I was back on the circuit again.